Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Insight Exchange Show. This is a project born out of the incredible folks in the Inside Quest Exchange community on Facebook, a group created by fans of the formerly Inside Quest show hosted by Tom Bilyeu, which is now turned into an amazing company called Impact Theory. Check them out on the interwebs. Since the creation of the group, it has become an astonishing place for open-minded learners from all over the world to congregate and exchange their ideas, insights, and amazing experiences with each other, and to help each other become the best version of themselves. As a group, we've decided to take our value deliverance to the next level by doing our own show. Our goal of the show is to provide as much actionable value in the shortest amount of time possible by asking a very direct and deep question designed to glean as much wisdom from our guests as possible. With that, I would like to introduce one of our very own members to you, Jeremy Rogers. Jeremy is an incredible person. He's traveled to over 25 countries all over the world, recently summited Kilimanjaro, and even runs an outdoor educational leadership school designed for all ages called the Tallahassee Adventure Club, all while working full-time as a firefighter and arson investigator for the Tallahassee Fire Department. With that, let's take it away to Jeremy. Good afternoon, Jeremy. How the heck are you?
Oh, what up, my man? I'm doing great. And listen, I'm getting
Awesome.
ready to eat this like most delicious mojo marinated pork for me and my family. So I probably couldn't be doing any better.
Buddy, that you were speaking my language.
Yeah. And I'm happy to be here with you, man, and super honored, by the way, super honored, blown away. So thank you for your interest.
Absolutely, and I'm honored and very thankful for you to come on and talk about some of the crazy and amazing things that you've done. And with that, let's dive right in.
Let's do it, brother.
All right. So, what is the most important lesson you've learned from traveling all around the world that you wish everyone could understand?
Wow, home run right off the bat. I don't even get some warm up pitches.
Boom. Nope. There is no what is your name. There is no what's your favorite color. Boom. We're going right in.
I love it. I think the true secret to traveling is just having open mind and be super curious, right? All in the same context of being kind, right? If you are kind, like I tell people all the time, right? So I've been to 25 different countries. I've been to some third world countries. I've been in some sketchy situations, but I'm telling you, my vibe is kind and I smile. And so as long as you're curious, you smile, you make an attempt to learn the language, you don't have to be an expert. Like, I don't want anybody to think that, but like, just be kind, smile, and be curious. And man, the rest will work itself out for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, that's it's so true. And I was just telling somebody earlier today, and that's one thing you and I have bonded quite a bit over is travel. And I've recently just came back from Europe over a 3-week period, and one of the most amazing things that I learned over there is well, it's really two. It comes from one that most people, I mean, you know this intellectually, but most people around the world basically just want the same things. They just want to get up in the morning. They just want to have their morning routine and practice their trade, take care of their family, eat a good meal, and then take care of their home, and then have a fine day. And that's really about it. People go about it somewhat differently, but for the most part, it's about the same, right? And
Yeah, I
then
couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't agree, like, wholeheartedly. Could not agree more. I mean, even to build on what you were just saying there, I've been throughout the Middle East even, and our media likes to project them as, this radicalized place. And, I'd be lying to you if I didn't like see mosques and, see, that kind of radicalism in just a small, small way. And I'm not saying that mosques like identify with radicalism, but our media like kind of tricks your brain into thinking that that religion or that area of the world is bad. But just coming all the way back around to what you said, they want the exact same thing that you and I both do.
exactly, and it's it just differs slightly, and they call things different, or or if you want to compare religions, Christianity versus Islam or anything else, they worship slightly different, but I mean it's really all the same thing, right? It's really mostly the same principles.
Exactly.
You
Love.
know,
It's love, Travis.
it's
It's
all
love.
love. It's all
It's
love, right?
all love.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that I noticed over in Europe, and I can't speak to this, and I'd love for you to and just kind of building off the question that we initially asked. I found that people seem to be more uh, together and there's more of a community feel in Europe as opposed to at least over here in the States. There's a general more closeness with even strangers. I'm not saying everybody knows each other, but there just seems to be more of a community feel in general.
Okay, so yes and no. Because I know a little bit about your trip, I'll say that probably like because like you were staying in hostels and you were like you dove into a community, like that's something that I would suggest when traveling, as opposed to like staying in some sort of like luxurious hotel and where
For
you're
sure.
isolating yourself. And where the only people that you interact with, you know, the first thing in the morning is either your bellman or the door holder or whoever's bringing you breakfast or your waiter or something like that. When you're immersed like you were, and like I travel, community, man, and that's what it's all about, right? If we're being curious, we want to go see what others want to, you know, we want to see how they live, and so you have to get in their community for sure.
Absolutely. And what do you think, in thinking about some of those more important lessons you learn from traveling and talking about community and talking about, the goodness and the open mind, the kindness of people? Like, what do you think? You could just maybe elaborate or tell a story. Like, what would be a great example of probably the kindest moment or person or situation you encountered while traveling?
It would definitely be, man, there's so many, but the first thing that came to my mind, and I'll tell you this story. So I don't know how many of our listeners or viewers have ever been to Puebla, Mexico, but um, I am a big fan of Puebla, and I actually flew to central Mexico to go climb Pico de Orizaba, which is North America's third tallest mountain. But on the back end, whenever I travel somewhere, I do primarily adventure travel. But on the back end or on the front end, I like to really dive in culturally. So like I'll sign up for like a cooking school or a cooking class, and I really feel like that is the best way to figure out the soul of a country. So, you know, I'd come down from Orizaba, and I actually almost died on this trip, Travis. It's an incredible story, and I will have to say that for another episode. But I'd
For
come
sure.
back down off this mountain, and I really truly had like my tail tucked between my legs. And I met a friend at a hostel, right? I dove right into community, like we said. And you know, I said, hey, can you help me find my cooking school in Puebla? And it was a girl, and she told me, sure. She knew right where it was, and you know, we ended up going to dinner that evening and having a phenomenal mole, by the way. And
Awesome.
uh, mole, if you ever get the chance, like, I mean, Mexico, you think tacos, but you really need to think mole. Okay, mole.
Okay.
And so chocolate mole. I'm a huge fan of chocolate and mole, I guess too. So,
Nice.
long story short. Her and I were walking around the city, and then we found in the historic district of Puebla, um, we found the cooking school, and it was everything that I hoped and dreamt it would be. I mean, it was super eclectic. It was artsy in the historic district. So we walk in, and I'm like, hey, you know, what time does class start tomorrow? I just wanted to see where it was, and they're like, oh, Mr. Rogers, you know. Unfortunately, our chef that teaches that went into labor, you know, a couple days prior. We've been trying to get a hold of you via email, but of course, I'm on the side of the mountain in Mexico, so
Yeah, right.
email service and emails wasn't really high on my priority list of things to check or do,
For
for
sure.
that matter. So I was truly devastated, man. I was like crushed. You know, I didn't get to climb this mountain. I wasn't going to be able to cook. And the girl I was walking around with had a boyfriend. So I mean, I was three strikes and you're out. So I mean, so I'm walking down the road with her, and we're heading back to the hotel. And in Puebla, in the historic district, everything looks the same. It's very European-esque. The Spanish designed and built the city incredibly. It is so dope with like music and the smells and the people and just the historical architecture and the cobblestone streets and just you can just feel like the vibe of the city with every footstep that you are taking. And I am hating every footstep I am taking. So we actually get lost, and it's starting to get late. And one of my rules when traveling anywhere, just about anywhere, is to be in where you're at like no later than 10:30, because I find, when the bad guys that look, to do harm, are typically they're in bars or nightclubs, and it's typically after 10:30. And if you can cut that part out of your trip, your success rate of nothing bad happening is gonna skyrocket. So we're lost, right? And we stand out like a couple of sore thumbs. And she's this tall, beautiful Asian, and I'm this ginger white American man amongst all these relatively small to medium height Mexican nationals walking on the street.
Yep.
So we walk in what I thought was like a museum, and there were three guys standing out front, and they were smoking a cigarette. And we walked past them, Momo and I did, and we walked past them, and one of the guys speaked up, and he said, "Hey, man, are you lost?" And I was like, "Oh crap! Like here we go. I'm gonna get robbed. It's like I'm gonna go 4 for 4 here." And my mind just went. It went right to that bad place, and I just thought, why not? I was like, "Yep, I'm looking for Casa Poblano, which is a great hostel, by the way." And he's like, "Oh man, it's right around the corner. You're like almost there. It's like 2 blocks down, 3 blocks over, or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And he's like, "So where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm from Florida." And he's like, "Oh man, I've spent a ton of time in Florida and all over the United States for that matter." And he's like, "So what's going on tonight? What are you guys up to?" I mean, he just kept pulling questions out of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Gosh darn, is he milking me for information?" And like I said, I just relaxed and I just went with it. And I told him that I was actually walking back from the cooking class that I was going to take that was canceled. And I was like, the beautiful woman over here, she has a boyfriend, so that's canceled too. And he was like, I totally hit his heartstrings, man. I totally hit his heartstrings. And he's like, "Oh, all right, see you later. You know where you're going." And I was like, "All right, man. Have a nice night." And I walk about probably 15 feet away. And just like in the movies, he's like, "Hey, Jeremy, come here." And I was like, "All right." And so I cruised back, and I was like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Listen, I don't teach in cooking school, but would you want to cook with me?" And I looked at him, and I looked at Momo, and I looked at his two friends, and I was like, "Well, are you a chef?" And his buddies just kind of laughed, and he looked me in my eye, and he goes, "You could say that." And it turns out, man, it's world famous chef Juan Pablo Luna. And he's one of Mexico. Yeah, it's one of Mexico's brightest and like rising stars in the culinary world and on planet Earth for that matter. He's a rock star. He was the youngest CEO or the youngest executive chef of the Ritz-Carlton, the entire Ritz-Carlton culinary. Their whole thing. Like he was
That's
the
awesome.
boss for Planet Ritz-Carlton. So. It was
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. And we went and we made this delicious meal together, and we fed his whole staff. It was like their community meal before they started service, and then afterwards, he gave me a private chef's table, behind the line, out of the restaurant, where he had like 3 waiters waiting on me, and I tried like 10 courses, and it was hands down one of the best traveling experiences that I've ever had.
That's so
he's
cool.
a beautiful person, Travis. He was just amazing.
That's so cool, man. And keeping an open mind and being kind and being willing to, you know, kind of go that extra mile and just being a little bit trusting, and you know, and yeah, there's definitely that healthy sense of paranoia, right? You know, and that's good,
Yeah.
but you know, it's just being able to keep that open mind and being able to you know, and to be able to share kindness like that, it brought such an amazing opportunity and such an incredible experience. And
No question.
wow, that's awesome. That is so cool, man. Wow, that blew me away. That totally blew me away.
Well, listen, it didn't end there either. I mean, him and I still stay in touch. We're in
Oh
correspondence,
man,
and you know, he has a beautiful family, and I have a little girl, and you know, we're both passionate about life, earth, and kindness and love, and
sure.
so that relationship didn't end there. And I think he ended up getting 2 Michelin stars at that particular restaurant. Yeah.
Wow,
So I
that's
mean,
huge.
he's
That is
a
so huge.
in every sense of the word, he's an inspiration. Good
That's
man.
that is inspiring. That is inspiring, and you are inspiring, Jeremy. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for sharing that. And to sum it all up, it all comes down to kindness.
For sure.
It all comes down to
Bless him.
love. I love it, man. Well, thank you for sharing your insight, Jeremy. I really appreciate that. And for everybody out there watching, this is the Insight Exchange Show. This is the first episode, and I'm so happy to have Jeremy with me here today. This was a blast. This was a ton of fun. Thank you so much. I can imagine there's going to be more conversations like this in the future. You've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and a lot of things to say, and a lot of incredible wisdom to impart. So thank you so much, everyone out there. This is, again, the Insight Exchange Show. You can find us on the YouTube Insight Exchange Show. Just type that up. And also, please check out the Inside Exchange community on Facebook. So if you go and jump on Facebook and look up Inside Quest Exchange, you'll find us. You'll find several hundred members of one of the probably the most incredible community I've certainly ever been a part of in my life. Yeah, absolutely. And the people like Jeremy and all sorts of cool people doing just some of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my entire life. And these are truly the people who are making the world go round and changing the world and having these just, I mean, unbelievable experiences. So please check us out there. And with that, thank you, Jeremy.
Hey, Travis, it's an honor and an absolute pleasure. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It is every day if you wake up, my friend, with kindness and love in your heart, and you take small steps to pursue whatever your dream is. It's every day. It's that consistency, and keep kindness and love in your heart, and take those small steps, Travis. Whatever and whoever in our community, if I can impart anything, if you want to be successful in life, that is the most important piece of advice I could give anybody. Small steps, kindness, and love. God bless.
Boom. Thanks, Jeremy. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a good day.